And I'm scared about this because I haven't had like all the quad boxes running at one time. So Saturday will be kind of an experiment to see how good the internet connection is.
Right.
But real quick before you make your point, what I was going to say is when you see somebody celebrating or doing that, I will keep the remote program with sound on the main. And so I will just switch automatically to that channel to see what's going on.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So let me ask the nerds. I'll start with.
Can we do that right after?
Yeah,
let's go Hemphill first because
right.
people keep rolling over in the chat room. MyBookie.ag chat room promo code next round. They will double your initial deposit. They keep saying over there that one guy said I've called my plumber or heating and air guy 4 times in 15 years. It seems like you do it 4 or 5 times a year. I would say membership has its privileges here when you have great sponsors like Hemphill.
Well, we had some friends in town last night, so I get home from trivia. I was going to have one nightcap with them, and I go in the basement, and I was so pissed at Chili, I was like, Chili pissed all over.
What have you done, Chili?
The rug. And what it was the AC had frozen up or whatever. So my buddy
thought
that's
it was
there,
chilly, but it was the
I
AC.
thought it was chilly, but almost the entire carpet in the basement was already covered from the AC like backing up or whatever. But my buddy that was there last night knew a little bit about it. So we get Andrew from Hemphill. We FaceTime. We've got him on the phone at 10:30 at night.
Andrew, wake up, Andrew.
You know he appreciated that.
It's Lance's phone that's ringing.
But he was talking Greek. I didn't know what he was talking about, but him and my buddy kind of were. And he was like, do this, that, and this. And so, anyway, they were out this morning at 8 o'clock.
Real quickly, before you tell us about Lance's Lock in Hemphill, would you tell me that were you stern or disciplined Chili?
I felt bad. No, I didn't.
Did you have to go back and apologize?
Like, I never, pop my dogs. I just don't.
No.
But I yelled at her ass. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you know better than to piss in the house. And when did you do this?
Did you put her in the crate? Did you?
No, I mean, she scurries off. She knows when I'm pissed off.
You had to come back.
Did you go back?
I came back.
So sorry. Rub her head.
I was like, I'm really
that's
sorry.
totally old.
But, they were sensory overload because our friends brought their dog Pringle. And Pringle was running around the house. And so... Anyway, I didn't go to bed till midnight last night.
Well, I don't want to cross stream sponsors here, but I feel like this.
We haven't even done the other one yet.
This may be a good time for you to swing by New York Butcher and get Chili a little.
Oh, I will. So
whatever the dog bouquet of flowers is to say I'm sorry.
JT's birthday is tomorrow, and so we're planning a special day and trying to decide whether he's going to be with me all weekend. So probably we'll do New York, probably take him out to dinner tomorrow night because I'm not doing it Saturday.
Right.
And then we will probably do New York Butcher on Saturday. Yeah, we'll probably grill that out.
You probably should little something to Chili after you yell at
I
us.
will. No, I will.
Okay.
Back to Hemphill Services, though. They were out this morning, whether it's plumbing, which I've had them out for, heating, knock on wood, not yet, cooling a bunch of times. Whether these issues happen in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. They are going to take care of you. Lance's Lock, another winning night. Winning nights every single night this week in Major League Baseball. We are ready to crush it.
So what time do you have your football plays up? Are they up?
They will be up in the next hour and a half.
Yeah, I like it.
Lance's Lock.com.
So it's a good time to jump on to start the football season.
Oh, yeah.
I think I saw you got a football special running, so go check that out.
We do, yeah, all inclusive. We had Georgia Tech week 0. We won in the NFL preseason again. So, yeah,
Welcome in Braves country to the Pennant Grace. We have a very crowded studio right now.
Such a professional environment. Sorry. Men at work.
We're getting the kegs refilled next to us in case
Yeah.
you're wondering what the noise is.
Yeah.
Ryan Brown,
Ryan
Lance
Allen
Taylor.
Brown, Lance Taylor.
It's just an incredible
Their
scene
work
in here.
is never done.
No.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice to have you back
Excited
here.
to be here.
Here at Grand Central Station.
We have so much fun on this show. I hope you guys know that.
We do.
And it's good to be in the same studio space as my dear co-host here.
What a nice quarter zip.
I know. Some would say that
By
it's
the
the
way.
best in the business.
Check out that logo right there, that Rhodesian Ridgeback. That's
Incredible.
Roback.com. And when you go to Roback.com and you get a nice quarter zip like my partner here, make sure you enter code PG20 at checkout, and you're going to save 20% on your order.
It's awesome. And we love when you use the code. We love you to be in style. And you can do both at Roback.com. Today is a fun day, Braves Country. We have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, it is my sister-in-law's birthday.
Happy birthday,
Maddie.
Happy
Also,
birthday, Maddie.
Millie, Ush's daughter, first cross-country meet. So big day all around.
Big day all around. Big day all around.
There are 2 teams that are playing this evening that are pretty big.
Yes, there
are. Who are those teams?
That would be the Atlanta Braves, who are 5 games back from the Philadelphia Phillies. We have been clamoring for a sweep, and we got a sweep. And not only you get a sweep from a really good team on the road.
Yep.
So figure that one out for me if you can. Braves now at 73-60, playing honestly their best baseball since at least May.
For sure.
8-2 in their last 10. Like I said, 5 games back on the Phillies and 4 games now up on the Mets. Coming off that big sweep in Minneapolis, and it was an eventful sweep as well. A lot happening in that series against the Minnesota Twins.
I feel like they were 3 very different games, you could say. I feel like each game kind of had their own identity. And obviously, every game you play is different, but it just felt like very different situations the Braves found themselves in each day.
I agree. Starting with game 1, that was a 10-6 win for Atlanta. Strange game.
It was.
86-minute rain delay. What really stood out for me there for the Braves, Max Fried starts the game, has that long of a delay, and no doubt in his mind he's going back out there.
For sure.
And the team needed that, honestly, from him with as much as especially certain members of that bullpen have taken pretty heavy load for Max to come back out. No surprise, and I think all Braves fans would agree that sounds like typical Max Fried.
It does. It was a great sign to see that, and that was a really long delay. We were actually coming back from the Selma Quarterback Club, and Lance I think he had the over in that game, and so he was a little panicked that he would not complete the game. And I learned that when there's a delay and it's started over the next day, lines don't count on it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So we were keeping up with it in the car, and I tapped his shoulder. I was like, oh, they're playing again. And that was about, 9 o'clock when they finally resumed.
So good move by Lance Taylor there, taking the over. That's why Lance Taylor's a successful man. Really cool looking. If you saw that, you had this almost crimson sky with a rainbow coming up as it was just getting completely dark. Really cool looking. Target Field seems like a nice stadium to go to there. And
my co-host here, we started off this show by talking about some of our favorite and least favorite uniforms.
Yeah.
And one of his favorites is the Twins.
Yeah. I like the ones they wore last night. I really like the ones that they wore
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. The white, Twins in red, numbers in navy. That's a great look for me. I really like them to wear it when they lose. Also in that game, E.G., Matt Olson, 3 for 5 with, listen to this line, 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, and he scored 2 runs. When Matt Olson first came to Atlanta, he was the king of doubles, and he really kind of has stepping back into that here lately, hitting a lot of doubles. For sure. We posted a tweet that said, welcome back, Matt, take your shoes off and stay a while, because it seems like we've seen flashes of this, but it's yet to really stick. So no better point this season for Matt Olson to come alive, and we've even talked about if Matt Olson was even doing half of his production from last season, the Braves would be in a very different position. So seeing strides in that area is fabulous, and it really started Monday night, seeing those doubles and the home run. Travis d'Arnaud had a home run in that game as well, and our guy Whit Merrifield, 5 for 5. Interesting conversation with friend of the show, Benny Rose, yesterday. We now have a question, asking ourselves a question I never thought we would ask. Hey, when everyone's healthy, what are we going to do with Whit Merrifield? But we're asking that. And it was really interesting. You and I talked about, his career numbers. Whit Merrifield's a good player. For sure. And his career has shown that. And numbers way down in Philadelphia. And you and I talked about how much does that have to do with him? He's used to being an everyday guy, being a bench guy and not getting regular play. this does speak to that theory as far as what he's been able to do since becoming an everyday player with Atlanta. But Whit Merrifield exceeding all expectations, and someone that you really would like to find a way to keep around.
Absolutely. Would you say that he reminds you of Charlie Culberson in a way?
Yes. But I think he's a better player, and I love Charlie Culberson.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Whit Merrifield is a better hitter and been good defensively as well. So a lot of scoring in that game.
For sure.
Interesting game with that delay. Game 2 also interesting in a different way. The Braves blew a 4-run lead. Game goes to the 10th inning. We talked about on our last show, best record in the major leagues in extra innings. They blow a 4-run lead, then rally and score 4 runs in the 10th to get the 8-6 victory. That was crazy.
It felt like the Braves of old, and Tom says, and our fill-ins for all the injuries are hitting, and you saw that right there.
Absolutely, they are.
It used to seem like, well, let me get ahead of myself. Historically, the Braves, if there is a deficit, even if it's 1 run, it feels like it is 10 runs.
Right.
So for the Braves to come back in that fashion was incredible, even after having the sore spot of giving up 4 runs in an inning and obviously not getting a shutout. But you combine that with the extra inning success the Braves had this season, and it felt good. Now, last night's game also was good for a few reasons, but I think, 2 games of adversity. Game 1, 86-minute rain delay.
Right.
Game 2 goes to extras, and you actually lose, I guess they never got the lead, but it got tied up.
Right.
But still, to now share the lead, 8th inning, that was big.
It was. Spencer Schwellenbach in that game only gives up 5 hits, 0 earned runs, and had 8 strikeouts. Now, he only pitched 4.2 innings, and his pitch count got way up. That was not a concern for me because I thought Minnesota was just fantastic at getting a bunch of foul balls, and that's what really drove that count up.
Do you think that the bullpen management of that game was a little questionable?
Okay, well, in what way? What do you think?
I've seen some people online saying that should have let Schwellenbach go longer, and then you kind of burn through some guys that really didn't need to be burned through, considering that you want to go for that sweep.
Yeah, and I think he maybe, going into last night's game, there was concerns you started to look, hey, if Chris Sale doesn't go super long, who's just like completely maxed out right now? And there were a couple of guys that weren't, but that's not a lot to work with there. So possibly I do see on the other side of that how you don't want to overwhelm a guy who, despite not pitching like one, is still a rookie. But yeah, pitch count goes high. Was pitching well. Just a pitch count thing in that Michael Harris II has a home run in that game. And Ramon Laureano talking about these replacement guys and who's hitting 3 for 5 with a double, 2 RBIs, scored a run, and had a stolen base. Great game for Ramon. He's playing outstanding at the plate. He's really provided a boost for Atlanta offensively. Brian Snitker said that was on its way to being a costly loss and turned into a good win.
For sure. We talk about it a lot on this show. The Braves need to take advantage of momentum that they're given and also create momentum. Before we continue, Tom asked what is going on with Kranitz. And as of July 2nd, David O'Brien, a source that we trust for Braves News, said pitching coach Rick Kranitz is away for a family matter. So he did say not that the pitching staff is struggling without him, but he's been gone a while. So it will be due to some family stuff going on with him. Yeah,
so hope all is well with him, and looking forward to having him back for sure. Going on to Game 3. Much more straightforward game in that, and really one dominated by Atlanta. A 5-1 victory last night to secure the sweep. Chris Sale, we're going to talk about Chris here in a minute, but Chris Sale goes 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run with 6 strikeouts. He is 15-3 at this point with a 2.58 ERA. Jorge Soler had a home run. Matt Olson with another double in that game, and I love this one, and I know you're going to love this one. Getting the opportunity to play, Luke Williams goes 2 for 4 with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. That was cool to see.
It was cool to see. And it was one of those games where it felt like things were clicking. And again, that momentum is heading in the right direction. Makes it even better that the Phillies also lost last night.
Yeah, so Brian Snitker says, hey, just giving Urshela the day off.
Yeah.
Luke Williams is there. I love it when guys can, get that. That's hard to do. They come in and they make the most of that opportunity. Interesting comment here from Ward Henniger, who says that he wants to drop in and give a big "Let's go Dodgers." I think the Duke of Denham put him up to that.
I think so
Noted
too.
Dodgers fan
and correspondent
Reed Taylor.
for us.
It could also be our local beer boy Lance Taylor, also a Dodger fan there. So.
Did you guys see those? Speaking of the Dodgers, or Braves podcast, we'll give some credit where credit is due. Shohei Ohtani's dog last night, throwing at the first pitch.
Yeah.
Incredible. Tyler in there. Let's weigh in, Lionel.
Yeah, I saw. I believe his name's Decoy. He ran. He ran the ball out to the catcher.
It was
a
awesome.
Really great video.
Yeah,
Lionel, that looks like a much more well-trained dog than either of my dogs, who maybe would have taken a dump on the field and just sat there.
it was so cool. I love the. I love that. It was the first dog to throw out the first pitch, which is kind of surprising. I feel like we would have done that by now. Then Shohei does go on to hit a home run.
Of course he does.
First AB.
How can you? You can't even criticize Shohei Ohtani. He's so good. He's so just otherworldly, to be honest with you. So before we get to the Phillies, a big what's on everyone's mind: 4-game series in Philadelphia, massive. And the last time the Braves will see the Phillies in the regular season. Want to go back to Chris Sale that we were talking about. Hit a milestone. Anytime you hit a milestone for the Atlanta Braves, it's a big deal. That's the longest continually running franchise in American professional sports. Chris Sale, 193 strikeouts on the season. That is the most ever by a Braves left-hander.
It's awesome.
In a season. How much ground does that cover? Well, on that list, and the two people that he just passed, 2 Hall of Famers, Warren Spahn and Tom Glavine. So that's pretty elite company right there.
It is. Good company to keep if you're Chris Sale.
Chris Sale has another season or so like this. Chris Sale's a Hall of Famer. Agreed?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Easy. And I love that he's in a Braves uniform, and I love that he's doing it in Atlanta.
So for those that keep up with those kind of things, I do kind of like the power rankings. MLB does those. And power rankings for pitchers. Chris Sale listed second. I do believe that he is going to be your Cy Young winner at this point. You agree?
For sure. And Scott weighs in, legitimately shocked he's been this durable.
Agreed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any shock there. Forrester, can you get on the mic for a second?
I already picked on the White Sox last show.
Hey, Forrester.
So don't do that.
So I forgot that we can't play highlights here because it's copyright. So I wanted to play the unfortunate catch against the White Sox. And Forrester, I just want your opinion. How do you feel now, August 29th of the White Sox season?
It's not gone very well, but I called this before the season ever started.
You did.
Look at that roster, and
True.
it wasn't going to go any other way.
That may have been that was as good of theft as I have ever seen. That was absolutely unbelievable. And Scott, that was going to be a walk-off, correct?
Yep, that was 2 men on, down 2. Would have been a 3-run homer.
I cannot believe he caught that.
No,
ball.
I can't either. It was SportsCenter top 10 at the number 1 spot in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, Duke of Denham, Reed.
Yeah.
He told me he had the over in that game, and that 3-run homer would have put him over.
There you go.
All righty.
Which wasn't even the saddest thing that happened in that game. You
Right.
guys see the second baseman get hit in the face?
I did see that.
Horrible.
Yep.
For Scott
Horrible.
Forrester, the tears on his pillow bespeaks the pain that is in his heart.
Love that.
It's okay, Scott.
It is. But you know what we love about Forrester
What's
is that
I love everything
about
Scott
Forrester.
Yeah.
He is loyal to the White Sox.
Yep.
Loyal.
I'm going down with the ship.
Yes.
I mean,
I like it.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Speaking of going down with the ship, not really know how this is going to segue, but the Dodgers do have a big series this weekend against the Diamondbacks. Talking about it in the chat right now.
Yeah, so, you could I think, it's as good as the AL East is, I think the NL West is the best division in baseball. You have the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks. And to me, I could lock all 3 of those into the postseason at this point. That is a really big series for both teams,
Yeah.
LA and especially for Arizona. So definitely be keeping an eye on that as we go through this big holiday weekend. Let's get into the Phillies.
Okay, let's do it.
78-55, 5-5 in their last 10. These pitching matchups are elite.
Incredible.
We're talking, high level stuff here. So game 1 tonight. By the way, game 1 and game 2 earlier start here. Central Time 5:40 starts on both of those games, which nobody loves more than me. Nobody loves an early bird more than me. You can't get too early for me. So Charlie Morton takes the mound for the Braves, 7-7 with a 4.24. We talked about Monday, his last 3 starts, his best of the season,
solid again.
Bringing that ERA down.
Another player that's peaking at the right time for the Braves, and you could not ask for more from Morton in his last 3 starts.
He's taken on Christopher Sanchez, who's had a really good season. He's 9-9 with a 3.51 ERA. Go to game 2. Keep these matchups in mind as well. I got a question for you. Okay. Go into game 2. Ronaldo Lopez, 7-4, 2.02 ERA. Against Ranger Suarez, 11-5 with a 2.82 ERA. So we are in late August. Got 2 starting pitchers with sub-3 ERAs facing one another. Game 3, start time jumps up to 6:15 Central. Max Fried, who we just talked about, brings his 8-7 record and 3.5 ERA against Zach Wheeler, 9-9 with a 3.51. Very close with those guys as far as the seasons that they're having. And then game 4, our pal Buster Only, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. That's a 6:10 first pitch Central Standard Time. The special Spencer Schwellenbach, 5-6 with a 3.72 ERA against Aaron Nola, 12-6 with a 3.30 ERA. That's a lot of information I just laid out for you. As we're about to close out August this week and move into September. I just gave you all of those pitching matchups. I'm really interested to see what a Braves postseason
rotation
looks like. And honestly, in case, unless there's just some type of catastrophe in Philadelphia, which is not going to happen.
No.
The Braves are going to be a wild card team. And so you're going to have that to deal with first. And so it's really interesting. I don't think there's any question. Game 1.
Chris Sale.
That's Chris Sale.
Yes. Wait, before we get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
2 things. We're really jumping around here. Are you disappointed that Sale is not a part of the series?
Yeah, I am, and that's the timing, the way things work. But you want to see your best guy against who is right now your biggest rival, the team that you're chasing, and you see the names Sanchez, Suarez, Wheeler, Nola. You see those names coming up. I feel great about the guys we have, but I want to see Chris Sale in that
for sure.
I really do
for sure. Now, my other thing, if the Braves can hang on to the wild card spot, what better time to have consistency with games than when they're playing their best?
Yeah.
I think that we did a poll back in early June. Would you rather have the division or the wild card spot? And I want to go back and check those results maybe on Monday and see what people said. But right now, I feel really good about the consistency of games the Braves will get, and they won't have to go on an unneeded break should they win the division.
If you compare the 2 clubs, I do think that you give Atlanta the edge in bullpen.
For sure.
I think pitching, starting pitching, I would give the edge to Philadelphia. It would be a frog's hair.
Yes.
It's close, but I would give the edge to Philadelphia.
It seems like there's less questions surrounding their starting rotation. All season, they've had it pretty down pat, whereas the Braves, especially for that 5th spot, have kind of rotated. And
even when they struggle, guys like Wheeler and Nola, I just trust to bounce back. And I give Philadelphia the advantage offensively.
For sure.
So, game 2, I think we all agree, of Chris Sale in that game 1 spot.
For sure.
2.02 ERA. How do you not put Ronaldo Lopez in game 2?
I think you can make an argument for Charlie Morton, but I would say Lopez for the early lead in the series.
See, I don't even think Charlie Morton gets a game 3. I think that's Max Fried's spot.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think unless he's at that game 2 spot, you don't see him in a game 3.
And then the big question comes, do you go with a guy who is loaded with experience, including playoff experience, in Charlie Morton, or do you go with put it on a rookie, Spencer Schwellenbach, who's pitched really, really well And keep in mind, the biggest part of Schwellenbach's success is no walks. Throws a lot of strikeouts and does not throw he just does not issue free passes.
And for a young pitcher like that, that is huge. You can't put a value on that, and it's really encouraging to see him make those strides at such a young age. And Tom says next year starting 5.
Salivating at that, by the way.
Strider, Sale, Fried, Lopez, Schwellenbach. So you're thinking that Fried comes back, Tom. Interesting.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen, but if you take Max out of that, and you're going to get another arm. If Max leaves, then they will go after, a rather somewhere, not a bargain bin pitcher. They're going to pay some money, I think, for a starting pitcher. So someone else could be slotted into that. That's assuming Charlie Morton does retire. We could see if he could move on into some type of coaching role as well. A lot to be said there, but I do think Strider, Sale, Lopez, Schwellenbach
would be
are
huge.
Locks. Those are locks into those spots, and that's really, really cool to see. So it's big. It should feel big to fans, and it's okay now. You can, you're at the end of August. You're playing your rival. You're 5 games back. You're playing your best baseball. It's okay to be excited about this regular series. It's okay to regular season series. Excuse me. It's okay to be real invested in this.
Yeah.
And no, you don't want to write off the season if it doesn't go well, nor do you want to get too excited if it goes very well.
For sure.
But to me, it's just absolute must-see TV.
It's a great weekend of baseball, and it's a great weekend of college football. We talk about a lot that this is a sweet spot of sports. The month of September and early October is just fun because you have games like this. And I think that for Braves fans, Buster said on the Next Round today, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's posted. But if the Braves beat the Phillies in this series, this could be the most dangerous Braves team since the 2021 team that ultimately won the World Series.
Right.
Coming from Buster, that's huge.
It's huge.
And I think that it'll be so satisfying to see really what transpires over the next month and a half and kind of go back and pull some receipts of some Braves doubters, if you will.
Yeah, this is an improbable team to even be in the discussion that they're in right now, and I think a lot of credit goes to Brian Snitker. I think a lot of credit goes to his staff.
Yeah,
and these guys that have battled through, the guys that have come back from injury, and then the pitching. I can't say enough good things about this Braves staff, what they have done from a starting pitching perspective and from that bullpen. I have a lot of trust in what they're doing. So when you have good pitching, you're set up well in the postseason.
For sure.
We even saw your guy last night, Luke Jackson. Be still your beating heart.
I know.
Yeah.
It's Luke Jackson. That's all I'll say.
No problems last night.
No problems. I mean, that's good for him.
Good for him.
So with that being said, guys, postseason is pretty close.
Yeah.
So let's do some housekeeping about what we have planned for the upcoming postseason.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
It always
sound like he does.
Lionel, it's always scary when a woman, any woman, asks you that.
Do you know
you're
what I'm
supposed
talking
to,
about?
and you got to hedge your bets there.
Okay. So
I just sit here and
but
look dumb.
I will say this, guys. I did put it. I put that on you unexpectedly. Okay. Anyways, so ahead of postseason in the next couple of weeks, we might have some scheduling changes. That's TBD to come.
Yeah, definitely expect some type of change. We'll just communicate those through social media. Make sure everyone will be aware. I trust me on that.
For sure. But in the next coming weeks, ahead of postseason, we're going to do a full preview.
Yeah.
And we're going to have guests on here. We'll have Duke of Denham, potentially Kyle back on.
Got to have Kyle back. So, friend of the show, Gary Lloyd, points out, since Kyle Parmley's appearance on the Pennant Grace, the Braves 6-1.
It's incredible. So, Kyle, please come back.
Scott Forrester would be a good one as well.
Of course. Maybe we'll see if Ben can join us. Ben Joyce. The Angels actually playing right now. So, with that being said, we're going to plan on doing a longer form show breaking down what everything will look like.
Yeah.
So get excited for that. We're still a little bit of a ways out, but we want you guys to get excited. It's going to be a fun show. Maybe we'll even have Lunsford in for his Oakland A's.
I would if we could just get Lunsford in for snarky comments, that would be worth it for me.
Yeah, for sure.
eye rolls, things like that. We'll break down each of one of those postseason series. Look at strengths and weaknesses of those teams, and what kind of momentum they have going into the postseason. It's a great time of year. Would love for the temperature to drop just a tad.
Hair. Yeah.
That would really push it over the edge.
It would.
It's
exciting, guys.
But it's exciting.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. Look, it's a Braves-Phillies series at the end of August, and it means something.
Yeah.
And if you're Atlanta and you lost Spencer Strider and you lost Ronald Acuna Jr. and you're without Austin Riley and Ozzie Albies, and I'm saying that this is a meaningful series, then that is a lot to celebrate for your team, Braves country.
It is. So listen, we'll have it all for you guys. We have to run here pretty soon. Millie's first cross-country meet. Can't miss it. We're really excited, though, and like we said, be on the lookout for some scheduling changes coming your way with the introduction of football season. We want to make sure that our content is still very accessible and timely for you guys. You can follow us on @the Pennant Grace, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hopefully we'll have the podcast version up soon, definitely ahead of postseason. But we love what we do. We love chatting with you guys, and be back on Monday, 12:15 to recap a very fun series. Where can they get postseason attire in style?
If you want to, and they have some really cool team apparel as well. So again, check out the inventory, see all the different kind of things that they have. Rowback.com. Use code PG20 at checkout, and you'll save 20%.
It's incredible. We love you guys, Braves country. Make sure you're tuned back in with us, and we'll be on our socials all weekend long. So with this series coming up, shoot us a tweet or post now since it's X, and we'll reply. We love interacting with you guys, but we will see you next time, Braves country.
Was that a